Ai Kuriqe tin iha kama kuin khaba. Omredu huwa kasiku hetep. Ina kaire ku kama ti khaba khu kam. Dan hore ha he kuin haku tin iha kuin khangama qait an ka Xirikuana. Ti hamma kx'oasi enkama. Ekaka twatware he domiqe. Haure xais du huwa kha tape khiri mi haibasena. Good afternoon, my beautiful friends. Again, I trust you all are spared today, and then I'm spared this side as well. Indeed, I will be short in this situation regarding who Xirikuana are and where they originated from as well. I want to show you all what is the meaning behind the Xiri term. The term Xiri is derived from two languages, that is Griqua and Xirikuana, meaning white, whereas in Xirikuana is written as Khati. The tone of the pronunciation will differ on how speakers pronounce the term of this tone, that is Khati or Khari or Khiri or Khidi, etc., etc. In Afrikaans orthography, it's written this way: Griqua or Xirikuana, or Griqua or Griqua. In Xirikuana, Xiri being shortened to Xiri is a manner of shortening the one vowel, as the word would prove to be the case of Xiri or Gri or Xiri. An example of this is my name, as it's written in this manner, Ola, hence written this way as Ura or Ura, stemming from Urua, meaning to be forgiving. Basically, it's a combination of two verbs. The term as Xirikua or Griqua is a verb plus a suffix meaning white men literally, and basically this inclines that these are white children or white surrogates. The Xirikua phenomena, even on the social media, especially Wikipedia, whoever's editing the history is doing disastrously wrong. They're doing it so wrong to a point that they are trying to give rise a narrative about these characters. There's a lot that they have done in damage. If I give a definition of who Griqua is, they use the term kx'oasi. They use the term that was created by a zoologist, a racist, an awful character. They gave definition of saying there were two phenomena. There was koi and san. Our people are not koi, are kwe. When I mention kwe, it is a Griqua definition. Even the kwe term, it is actually a Xirikuana term. Because the term kx'oasi, it's unauthentic, it's pseudo, because that term does not identify with indigenous people. Kwe, Kora, and Nama, they are nations, they are not tribes. And Nama is a nation, Kora is a nation. They are Kwe nations. So meaning they're characterized under Kwe. Ham, they are Kwe. They are so-called Hottentots as well. Or they are, we can say they are what? They are people who we deem as Goi. They're the same. Where does this five grouping come from, in my question? You understand? It's done by people who have no sense of indigent identity and background. They've orchestrated this and they came up with this and say, Koi, San, Nama, Xirikuana, and notions which were passed through by your NKC, giving all these false notions in between as well. So these are things that we are trying to warn people about. They need to be careful about and take sentimental thoughts about people who are deemed to be Griqua as well. Like these people see Griqua phenomena even on the social media, especially Wikipedia. Whoever's editing the history is doing disastrously wrong. They're doing it so wrong to a point that they are trying to give rise a narrative about these characters. There's a lot that they have done in damage. If I give a definition of who Griqua is, they use the term kx'oasi. They use the term that was created by a zoologist, a racist, an awful character. They gave definition of saying there were two phenomena. There was koi and san. Our people are not koi, are kwe. Because when I mention kwe, it is a Griqua definition. Even the kwe term, it is actually a kwe mana term. Because the term kx'oasi, it's unauthentic, it's pseudo, because that term does not identify with indigenous people. Kwe, Kora, and Nama, they are nations, they are not tribes. And Nama is a nation, Kora is a nation. They are Kwe nations. So meaning they're characterized under Kwe. Ham, they are Kwe. They are so-called Hottentots as well. Or they are, we can say they are what? They are people who we deem as Goi. They're the same. Where does this five grouping come from, in my question? It's done by people who have no sense of indigenous identity and background. They've orchestrated this and they came up with this and say koi san nama Xirikuana and notions which were passed through by your NKC, giving all these false notions in between as well. So these are things that we are trying to warn people about. They need to be careful about and take sentimental thoughts about people who are deemed to be Xirikuana as well. Like these people, in any form, whether you go to Human Rights Commission, they are not forming part of anything. They don't have consent to indigenous society. As I further explained, Xirikuana, he was a leader, but he was named after communities of mixed Kwe, your hybrid, which was your Batatin people particularly, which mixed breed between your Kwe and your Sotus. So Puduhu, it is a Steinbach. We say it's Karis, right? In Kwe manner, right? We say Puduhu Twana, meaning those identical styles Steinbach. That's why we say Xirikuana, Xina, or Xina, meaning those who are like twin type ones, do you understand? And hence I give a narrative. The term Tswana, it is a hybrid as well. Hence I say there's no original people who are known as Tswana, because these are what? These are white anthropological terms that have stemmed these under mixed communities as well. Not to vent off from the purpose of this video, who were your Lefleurs, who were your Avatarabos, who were your Koks? People are known as your Kok, and also Krausuk. Krausuk is not a Griqua originated society, or these are your Tham tribe. They are Tham people, meaning your Ngung. Ngung means homestead people. Definition of what they are: homestead people. That's why they are known as Krausuk in Afrikaans or Dutch. They are not Xirikuana. The history in this regard, as they are known as Krausuk, is because of the intermarriage from the Xirikuana, which is your right-hand tribe from your Kora, which is derived or designated from your kx'oasi or your kx'oasi or kx'oasi, which is your taibos or your wild berry tree or great wild berry tree people particularly. Khona people, they had the right-hand tribe, which was comprised of all the legacies of the Musekwa, or which is your paramount kings of your past. You understand? And then from there, those clans, they married into the society was known as your Musekwa. Musekwa, these are your other side tribes, which it has been over canters, if I may say, in Afrikaans. And then these people were actually your Kham society, actually, which was comprised of your Nhukwi, which is your black people, and then we have your Nhukwi, which is your homestead people. They are all from your Kumtina. Your Kumtina people are known as your bitter tree people. The Fleer is not an indigenous surname. It's not an indigenous legacy. There's no legacy attached to it as indigenous. The past Le Fleer, it is actually your French Protestant family that is actually, they became eminent from what we know as Franz Hoek in the past. And they were also put under the same notion of Xirikuana. But hence we say these are not Griqua people. These are European originated people. Jumping over to the Waterboer. Waterboer, if I give a narrative about them, they are not Xirikuana. But the history I got from elderly society is that Waterboer, it is a water farmer, was an ancestor who was named actually by that, by the Voortrekkers and by the English as well. He was giving water, supplying water to the indigenous society because of where they were dwelling, and he refused to do that with the British colonial generals and masters as well. So he refused because they were struggling. They were all dying of thirst because they were surviving in an area that was very hostile at that particular time. They came through. They threatened. They wanted, he refused, and then the time when he refused to be assisting the British in turn, they threatened to actually to burn his farm, and in fact they did so up until to a point that he had to give in that particular moment. This is how he was captured in the past. But history does not dictate which tribe or which bloodline or where he was coming from. But as I was told by history in the past, they were coming from that as well. They were coming from indigenous communities, but I cannot really tell from which one. But I cannot say, as much as white anthropology has prone them to be, as they're prone to use the term of your Xirikuana. It's not Xirikuana, it's Xari or Ari or Xari Griqua. Griqua, it means uprighters. I mean, oprechte mensen, if I may say. To understand, it means young oprecht or plain oprecht mensen, of young oprecht mensen, if I may say, in Afrikaans. But it has nothing in connection with what it has been claimed from. And these people are not anyways associated. These were absorbed because of this hegemony which the British society has contributed towards as well, that were there in the past, in the 1800s. And there was a lawyer who was known as David Arnott. Arnott was representing the Kok, right, in the commission. And in a commission, when he identifies Kok, he doesn't identify him as Adam Kok. He identifies him as Dam Iok. So the term Iok, I might never have any information about, but from any language analysis, it's not a language. It's not a name from South Africa. It's a foreign name as well. So it means he was a British mercenary, and then they gave identity to him because he was serving what? Was serving the British generals who was raiding. He was the one carrying mass slave raids as well, murderous as well. He was murdering. That man was ruthless. The first Adam Kok was very ruthless. Hence we say, whom did we marry? Because I see a lot of scholars, they are trying to marry the history towards the Quran, and there's no Quran chancellor that gives any records of Adam Kok being part of our history. Adam Kok was serving a white man, and he was serving a white man, and that's hence he has his legacy. He has his own country, which today is a city. It's not a country, which is Oxford as well. Similar to his descendants, they are not part of any indigenous legacy. They are serving even if they've married, which indigenous society, from which chief did the book took wife from? Who was the father of the bride? You need to understand that. And if that does not exist in particular manner, we cannot clinch claims to say these people are indigenous. In whatever circumstances it might be, it's null and void. It's transgressing history and giving a false narrative and false information about a complete society as well. We need to also stand by this, try to prevent this, because this colored phenomenon, it is actually the reason and the cause that we see what we are seeing today, and we need to do away with such, because colored term identifies melanated society. It does not identify a Creole society as well. When I say colored, the colored notion, it means a melanated society. A person who's identified as a so-called black as well is colored as well, because of he is colored. In the past, he was identified like that by the British literature or the English literature, particularly in what is the English language. It identifies colored as people of color. Do you understand? Not a Creole people, a person, phenomenon in particular. Creole, that's why we have the term in English as Creole. Do you understand? And it has nothing to do with that. Today, it's been made a hegemony because of the admixture as well of people of color and also migrant labor workers who were of color, people of dark color who were mixed in that. They were also referred to as colored, and they created those who resisted, like your Kora, your Nama. They referred them as what? They are trying to say they were referring them as your indigenous people, but they referred them as black in the past. They were dead people. That's why in books, when they say Nama people never existed or Korana people never existed, this is how they taint us in history. They are no more existing. Black means people who are dead, who don't exist in the picture. And that's a notion I'm trying to create. This has nothing attached to anything apart than we are being tainted to be called black people. There's no such people called black in particular. So we need to remember that as well. It has nothing in notion with that as well. This is very critical and very sensitive, because people are known as black people. These are people who are known as indigenous societies where they are largely survived from, into, not what is today the so-called colored. So these are notions that we need to create in perception, that people, they need to delve, and people need not to use hegemonic political systems that were created by the British colonial government as well.